Demonstrating what you actually know and can do should be more important than how long your butt has been in a seat. Now, it doesn't seem as though it should be that radical after all. But once you sort of shift the focus to learning as opposed to teaching, then a number of things become possible. And I was struck by how Bob Scheiman's comments were very faculty focused, right? And so we see faculty as one of the ways that people learn, but not the only way. So we talked to employers about what was important to them. We looked at all the research, and it's exactly what Mo said. The list is incredibly consistent. Critical thinking, problem solving, communication skills, and of course, content knowledge as well. So we set up really 120 competencies organized around these 9 big categories of competencies, and created projects that people do in order to demonstrate their competencies. So they could come in already knowing those things, or it could be that they learn them through the help of resources which we've created or curated. We take a lot of advantage of some of the fabulous online and free resources there are. When they demonstrate these competencies and they complete their projects, then they get the degree. So it could happen in 6 months, it could happen in 8 months. It can happen in 8 years because we were the first really true competency-based program to be approved to offer federal financial aid, and that comes with some constraints, right? Just as Kevin was saying, there is indeed no free lunch. So
there are no courses? There are
no courses. There are, these projects are clustered around certain goals, and there are 20 big goals. And sort of things like being able to access information, sort of learning, ethical, examining ethical perspectives, that kind of thing.
And if you start and don't feel that you have the competency, what is kind of the direction of obtaining the competency or increasing the competency that you have on the day that you started?
Sure. So
what is the pathway for that?
I mean, one of the things that happens, we make a lot of use of technology because one of the things about this program is that it's extremely low cost. $2,500 a year, all inclusive, which is sort of unheard of. So there are a couple of important human relationships. One is with a coach who helps the student understand kind of an accurate sense of sort of where they are and what their interests are and so on. They work out paths that the student commits to, and then the student schedules their projects. So it's not that there are no deadlines, it's not that there's no pace, but it's a flexible pace. Student submits work, gets feedback back from the other really important human in this chain who's a trained reviewer, who's a subject matter expert, who sort of using a rubric says, this is working really well, Ron, here's what you need to work on. The student then continues to work, keeps resubmitting it. Once they've satisfied all the criteria, then they have achieved mastery of those competencies.
And just one more question before I bring in everybody else. Do you apply this to kind of the broad range of potential subjects? I mean, philosophy, biology, or is this very specific?
No, it's a common, I mean, there are sort of 3 big buckets. One is content knowledge, so we have all the things you would usually experience in a gen ed program. So there's environmental science, there's art, anthropology, psychology, that kind of thing. And then these foundational skills that sort of cross no matter what you're doing in the workplace or in school. And then finally, there are these interpersonal skills that are what Mo was talking about, and that every employer on earth says they need from students: the ability to work in teams, the ability to schedule yourself, and to resolve conflicts, and so on.
Actually, one last question before I bring in everybody else, one more foundational question, understanding this. I had read, if you graduate from high school, can you enter this, or is it only through employer? I mean, how do you get into this chain?
So at the moment, we're working with employer partners and also some community organizations, and so the employer actually decides who's going to go into this program. Probably ultimately it will be open to everybody, but at the moment this offers a lot of stickiness because people form natural cohorts. The employers are very excited about this and are so celebrating the achievements of the students who are in the process, and they see the payoffs because they can see, oh, if this student actually masters these competencies, they'll be so much more useful to me as an employer.